Which marine animal or fish has the biggest brain-to-body ratio? A. Manta rays, B. Bettas, or C. Great white sharks? Keep listening to Formosa Fauna to find out. Spend the next 20 minutes feeding your brain with Formosa Fauna so you can learn all about the animal kingdom and become smarter than all of your friends. Every Friday is Formosa Fauna Friday. Hello, I'm Tristan Hildebrand, the voice of Formosa Fauna. I love animals and I love talking about them. If you're even remotely curious about the animal kingdom, you're in the right place. On today's agenda, we're going to talk about green sea turtle hatchlings in Kending National Park here in Taiwan, organisms that change and construct the world around them, the fish that weighs 3 tons, why dogs may be so afraid of vacuum cleaners, and so much more. Let's dive right in. Over 100 green sea turtle hatchlings recently made their way to the ocean on a beach in Kending National Park. This event is part of Taiwan's annual sea turtle nesting season, which runs from May to October. Chen Xinghong, Conservation Director at Kending National Park headquarters, reported that the number of green sea turtles in local waters has been gradually increasing in recent years. Nesting activity has been observed at several locations along the coastline. Green sea turtles typically dig nests about 50 centimeters deep and lay around 100 eggs per nest. After an incubation period of about 50 days, hatchlings emerge and instinctively move toward the ocean. Hatchlings imprint on the specific characteristics of the beach where they hatch, guiding them to return to the same site as adults to lay eggs, a behavior known as natal homing. Since March, the park office and volunteers have patrolled beaches to identify nesting sites based on turtle crawl marks. So far this year, an estimated 4 to 8 female turtles have come ashore, with 3 nests confirmed to have hatched. Officials noted increasing local participation in marine conservation efforts. Although a comprehensive population survey has not been conducted yet due to the wide range of marine habitats, officials plan to enhance monitoring in the future. The peak nesting period generally occurs in July and August, during which monitoring is coordinated by the Ocean Conservation Administration and local volunteers. The park is also reminding the public to report turtle sightings via the Coast Guard's 118 hotline or the Kending office at 08886-1321. Visitors are advised not to touch, disturb, feed, chase, or otherwise harm the turtles. To minimize disruption, people should maintain distance and avoid using bright lights near beaches at night or early morning. Violations may be subject to penalties under Taiwan's Act on Wildlife Conservation, including imprisonment for up to 1 year or detention, and fines ranging from 60,000 NT dollars to 300,000 NT dollars, which are very hefty fines. That's roughly about 2,000 to 10,000 US dollars. According to the British evolutionary biologist F. John Odling Smee, all organisms alter the environment to cater to their own needs, not just humans. For example, some dig burrows, build nests, create shade, or create shelter from the wind. Plants also can alter soil chemistry and cycle nutrients. This was coined as niche construction by Odling Smee. The fauna that take part in niche construction have been called ecosystem engineers, coined by scientists in 1994. American evolutionary biologist Richard Lewontin had also argued that animals are not passive victims of natural selection and instead actively construct and modify their environments, affecting their own evolution in the process as well. The lynx and the hare, for example, have shaped one another's evolution by striving to outrun one another. And if you're trying to put a face to the name for what these ecosystem engineers are, The more obvious example would include things like beavers, who build impressive dams which can alter river courses and create new habitats for other organisms to take advantage of in the process. Together, these ideas challenge the old view of evolution as something that just happens to organisms. Instead, they suggest that life forms, from the tiniest microbes to apex predators, are not just shaped by their environment, but are also constantly shaping it in return. Evolution, then, isn't a one-way street. It's a feedback loop. As species build, dig, chase, and adapt, they not only change their surroundings, they influence the path of their own future. Taiwan is an island that is 70% covered by mountains, lakes, and jungle. Taiwan's early connections to the Pacific and Southeast Asia are well established and are the basis for seeing Taiwan as an ocean nation. Did you know that there are over 17,000 species that thrive in the deep sea where no light penetrates the ocean waves? Or that there are 38,000 different kinds of microbes in just 1 liter of seawater? These were all discoveries made by the Census of Marine Life, a 10-year international effort that assessed the diversity, distribution, and abundance of marine life. Today, you're going to learn about the gigantic, the giant oceanic manta ray. Giant oceanic manta rays have triangular wings that can stretch up to 23 feet or 7 meters across, and they can weigh up to 3 tons. That is incredible. They truly are gentle giants, though, as they will do people no harm, except maybe give someone a rash if they rub their rough skin over yours the wrong way. They are gentle filter feeders, so only minute plankton might not see them as gentle giants. Fun fact, manta rays have the biggest brain-to-body ratio of any fish. Why the need for such a big noggin? Scientists at an aquarium in the Bahamas lowered a giant mirror into the tank where 2 manta rays were living. Both showed a lot of interest in their reflections, circling in front of it and blowing bubbles. The scientists drew the conclusion that they were doing a contingency check, which is like what you or I would do when we'd wave our hand in front of the mirror to see if it's us or not. As reef mantas have been recorded diving down to 2,300 feet below sea level or 700 meters, the water gets very, very cold. To keep their brains from freezing during such dives, they have dense bundles of blood vessels that act as heat exchangers. The flow of blood redirects the warmth back towards their vital organs, essentially acting as a built-in brain warmer. As they are filter feeders, think for a second how they might get something out of their gills if they don't have a tongue to dislodge anything and they don't cough. Well, they've evolved gills that are covered in tiny comb-like teeth shaped to stir swirling vortices that whip food particles into their throats while simultaneously keeping the gills clean. Some engineers have even studied and copied this to try to make devices that sieve tiny flecks of plastic from wastewater at processing plants. Unfortunately, not too long ago, traders in traditional Chinese medicine also started to sell the belief that mantis gills could treat anything from acne to chickenpox. According to Dr. Helen Scales, the traders likely made this up because the mantas haven't appeared in any traditional medicine texts from before. This allegedly may have also been a shift from shark fins, as sharks became overfished and their fins harder to come by. Now, tens of thousands of mantas and their relatives, the devil rays, are unnecessarily killed for their gills every year, including in Vietnam, Sri Lanka, India, and Indonesia. Conservation groups are working hard to reduce the demand by explaining to consumers that the gills are contaminated with dangerous levels of toxins that the mantas accumulate while swimming through the sea, and scientifically there's just not enough evidence out there that would suggest that this kind of product would actually treat what these traders are claiming they will. Why are dogs afraid of vacuum cleaners? This question reminds me of one of my favorite videos I found online this past year, and I just keep thinking about it. This guy shooting the video from his point of view is about to make a smoothie in a blender, right? He turns the machine on and then pans over to his cat on the complete other side of the room, and his cat is actively batting at the vacuum, which is not on at all. But when it comes to cats and dogs being afraid of or angry at vacuums, it's not just a funny quirk. There's actually a good reason behind it. And I wish there was more to it, but it's actually probably what most people have already guessed. According to the 2013 Manual of Clinical Behavioral Medicine for Dogs and Cats, vacuum cleaners make loud, high-pitched noises that can feel like a sensory overload to pets, whose hearing is much more sensitive than humans. Dogs can definitely hear sounds from vacuum cleaners that humans can't. Their hearing range is much broader than ours. They can detect higher frequencies between 40,000 to 60,000 hertz, while humans typically hear up to about 20,000 hertz. Vacuum cleaners emit a mix of noises, including high-pitched whines and ultrasonic sounds that are usually inaudible or barely noticeable to human ears, but can be very loud and unsettling to dogs. Imagine a sudden, strange sound booming through the house, combined with a machine that moves unpredictably across the floor. That's enough to trigger a dog's natural fight-or-flight instinct. In addition to all of that, dogs thrive on routine and familiarity. When a noisy, moving object suddenly appears out of nowhere, it can feel threatening or just plain confusing. Some dogs might bark, hide, or even tremble when the vacuum comes out. And if a dog has had a bad experience with one before, that fear only grows. The good news is, with some patience, gradual exposure, and positive reinforcement, like treats and calm praise, dogs can learn that the vacuum isn't so scary after all. So, the next time your furry friend bolts the moment you pull out the vacuum, remember, they're just reacting to what feels like a big, noisy, unpredictable monster. Nikolai Mikhailovich Przewalski was a Russian explorer renowned for his extensive expeditions into Central and East Asia. Between 1870 and 1885, he led 4 major journeys into largely uncharted regions. During these expeditions, Przewalski meticulously collected thousands of plant and animal specimens, significantly enhancing European knowledge about the area's geography and biodiversity. Among his notable discoveries were the Przewalski's horse, Przewalski's gazelle, and the wild Bactrian camel. Przewalski's detailed surveys and extensive collections contributed immensely to the scientific understanding of Central Asia. Tragically, Przewalski contracted typhoid fever and passed away in 1888 in present-day Kyrgyzstan, shortly before embarking on his 5th expedition. In recognition of his contributions, the Russian Geographical Society established a prize and silver medal in his honor, and a monument was erected in his memory in St. Petersburg. So now, the next time someone talks about the expeditions of undocumented land, you might just think of Przewalski. Despite their fearsome reputation in movies, piranhas aren't mindless killing machines, but they can be dangerous under the right conditions. According to the Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute, piranhas are most active during the day, especially at dawn and dusk when they're more likely to feed. If you're swimming or wading in waters known to contain piranhas, particularly in parts of the Amazon basin, it's important to stay calm and avoid excessive splashing. Piranhas are drawn to vibrations in the water, which they associate with struggling prey. Moving slowly and steadily is the safest way to avoid triggering that kind of attention. Telling if water is infested with piranhas isn't always obvious. There is no giant danger sign floating in the river, but there are some clues and local knowledge that can help you stay safe. First and foremost, ask locals or guides. People living near rivers in piranha-inhabited regions, especially in South America's Amazon basin, often know where piranhas are most active. Fishermen, in particular, can tell you where they've caught piranhas or seen feeding frenzies. If locals avoid swimming in certain areas, that's a pretty strong indicator you should too. You can also look for signs of fish cleaning or discarded animal parts near the water, as piranhas are attracted to blood and scraps, so if you see people gutting fish by the riverbank, or if there are animal remains in the water, that can raise the risk. Similarly, if birds, livestock, or other small animals tend to avoid drinking from a particular area, that could be a red flag. Another sign is bite marks on fish or animals pulled from the water. Piranhas often leave distinctive semicircular chunks missing from their prey. If you see multiple fish with those kinds of injuries, there's likely a school of piranhas nearby. Also, still or slow-moving water, such as oxbow lakes or lagoons or shallow backwaters, tends to be riskier than fast-flowing rivers. Piranhas prefer calmer waters where food is more abundant and easier to catch. One key rule is never enter the water if you're bleeding. Piranhas have an excellent sense of smell and could detect blood from surprising distances. Research published in Environmental Biology of Fishes shows that the red-bellied piranha, one of the more aggressive species, is particularly sensitive to blood and erratic movements. Panic and thrashing will only make matters worse. If you find yourself in the water with piranhas nearby, your best move is to stay calm and head smoothly towards the shore. Experts who talked to BBC Wildlife also warn against swimming near areas where fish are being cleaned or discarded again. While full-blown attacks are rare and often exaggerated, piranhas are opportunistic feeders, and if the conditions are right, they will bite. So while they're not quite the villains pop culture makes them out to be, it's smart to respect their space and try not to act like prey. At Grange Academy, a school for students with special educational needs in the UK, a small on-site farm has become an essential part of daily life. With sheep, pigs, goats, chickens, and even a pony roaming the grounds, the farm offers students hands-on experience in animal care. School staff describe it as vital for helping students manage stress and emotional regulation. The presence of animals provides a safe space to calm down, reducing anxiety and frustration through interaction, something underscored by numerous studies on animal-assisted therapy. Research shows that interacting with animals releases oxytocin, lowers cortisol, and can significantly reduce blood pressure and stress levels. In therapeutic settings, ranging from schools to psychiatric care, animal-assisted interventions have improved communication skills, social interaction, emotional stability, and even physical health outcomes. These findings mirror Grange Academy's observations. Students are gaining empathy, decision-making skills, and confidence, while also preparing for future careers in animal care or related fields through formal qualifications and real-world responsibility. The school is planning an open day to showcase students' progress and raise funds for new farm infrastructure, including a new shed. Educators highlight how the farm environment encourages quick thinking and adaptability, qualities essential in both life and work. They're also continually impressed by the students' deep knowledge, from recognizing signs of illness in sheep to identifying different chicken breeds. More than a hobby farm, this space functions as a therapeutic classroom where both academic and emotional growth flourish, just as modern research suggests is possible when animals are woven into education and therapeutic environments. Do you wish your school had a farm or some other form of animal therapy? Share your thoughts with me by sending me an email at tristan@rti.org.tw. That is tristan@rti.org.tw. Making it to the end of an episode makes you a Formosa Fauna friend. It's not gross, it's cute. Thank you for tuning in, friend. All animals require enrichment, and Formosa Fauna is just that. After all, we're all just a bunch of wild animals. See you next time for Formosa Fauna Fridays here on Radio Taiwan International.